Hey, what's up, everybody? Chicago Gooner here, bringing another Arsenal talk. In this Arsenal talk, I'll cover the third round FA Cup tie against Hull City, which good win by the guys. Uh, Other than maybe the start of the second half, looked really good, passing wise, energy wise. Especially given the fact that Alexis Sanchez, Santi Cazorla, some of those guys have been playing, every single game for the last 2 weeks, and some tired legs out there. You could see some tired legs, especially in this game with like Santi and Rosicky and Alexis but Alexis, man, I mean he just never stops. He never stops running. He never gives up. Which is I just wish other players would just follow suit. Some try to, not everybody has his energy level. Not everybody has the stamina that he does. But I hope people continue to really follow suit of what he's trying to do on the pitch. Um, but all in all, 2-0 victory. Should have scored more. Had plenty of chances to score more. First goal by Per Mertesacker was probably like one of the laziest headers you'll ever see. I mean, it was perfectly on a plate. All he had to do was really nick the ball with his head, and it went in. Again, assist by Alexis Sanchez, a goal and an assist for the game for Alexis. And what more can you say about him? It was right on play for Per Mertesacker. He probably needed something like that, especially from a fan standpoint. Um, of course, we're still not going to get off his back, and he still needs to improve defensively. But it's something that a player like that really needs to hopefully grow some confidence to play within himself instead of playing like he has over the last this whole season. To be honest with you. Um, but all in all, defensively we're a lot better. I think with Chambers back there too. It was something different, but Hull City, they just didn't look. They really just didn't look interested. I mean, there was plenty of times, especially in the second half, where we should have just kept on pressing and pressing and pressing as high as we could. But it just never happened for some reason. Alexis Sanchez was trying to wave everybody forward to start pressing because he could see how lazy that Hull City was. Um, and every time he tried to wave forward to wave everybody forward, everybody dropped back instead, and it's just kind of like, come on. If your striker, if you're one of your leaders on the team is trying to press forward and wave forward to press the ball and try to get the ball back and try to create more chances. I mean, you should actually do that instead of dropping back like they were, because Hull wasn't really doing anything all that special, to be honest with you. They didn't really have that many chances. A lot of their shots were outside of the box. A lot of their shots were going 40 rolls up, which we'll take that every time. We'll take that every single game, regardless of who we play. If players want to take those wild shots outside the box, but again, that's a testament to how well our back line played. There's a couple times where Monreal got beat, but that's no surprise. Bellerin played pretty well, I thought. Coughlin played pretty well again at the DM spot. Again, putting players where they should be, putting players in their natural positions, and good things will happen. We made the mistake again in Southampton game where we played Rosicky on the wing, and then we played Chambers at the DM spot, and then Coughlin as a CM, where Rosicky should have been the CM. We had two or three wingers sitting on the bench with Theo Walcott, Joel Campbell even sitting on the bench, where Rosicky and Santi could have really bossed the midfield, and it could have solidified that midfield, and just have Coughlin play as a DM, because Coughlin's that type of player. I mean, he's a tryhard. That's how I see him as. I mean, he's not the most perfect player. He's not the most perfect DM, but he's a tryhard. He's another guy that doesn't stop running. He's not afraid to make a tackle. I made a tweet earlier, like late in the game, that you could do a drinking game during an Arsenal game with Coughlin alone, of how many times he goes to ground, how many times he does that he tries to do a sliding tackle. You'll probably be drunk by the time the first half stops, but you could do you could do something like that because he does do a lot of sliding tackles. He does a lot of hard tackles that you don't normally see from a Mikel Arteta. You might see it from Flamini once in a while, just because Flamini is kind of reckless like that as well. Maybe it's a French thing, who knows? Coquelin is French, so maybe it is a French thing where they're not afraid to make those difficult tackles. They're not afraid to go to ground and try to get the ball back. Sometimes it is reckless. Sometimes you have to be careful just because of the challenges you try to make. They could be deemed as reckless and a dirty challenge or naughty challenge, as some would say. He had one near the end of the game that you just can't kind of make that. You got to make sure you're going to be 100% or even 90% that you can get the ball. Because it can put the team in trouble. But by that time we were up 2-0, so it wasn't going to really affect the game. But if we were still only up 1-0, and you give them a free kick, about 10, 15 yards out of the box, that's kind of a dangerous position to be in. Ospina, he didn't really have much to do today. Again, they didn't have that many challenges on or chances on goal, but you could see how he commanded the back line. He was in control of the back line. He was in control of Chambers and Per Mertesacker, and it seemed like he was always communicating with those guys of when to push forward, of when to hold back, and everything like that. So good things from him. Obviously he didn't do anything stupid. It was kind of nice to see when a ball came into the box, he got rid of it almost immediately, which that's what you want. You don't want someone to play around with the ball, thinking that you're a attacking midfielder or a winger or something like Szczesny thinks he is sometimes. You just want the goalkeeper to get the ball away right away, unless there's absolutely no threats whatsoever. And Ospina showed that. He showed that he has confidence, which sometimes Szczesny just doesn't act like that, where he just doesn't have the confidence. So hopefully he gets a good run of games. Hopefully he gets the next couple weeks to where he can prove that he should be starting ahead of Szczesny, because Szczesny just needs to sit down and take a breather, and Arsene needs to do what he did with him in the 12 and 13 season. Just sit him down. Send a message. Send a message again saying you can't do the things that you've been doing. You can't be this erratic every single game. You can't be running out at a ball and try to be sweeper keeper every fucking game, because it just doesn't call for it. So hopefully Ospina gets a good run of games, hopefully, because +2, I think he, even though he's been injured, I think he probably deserves it. He came to this club to fight for the number one position, and to play more than just the FA Cup ties and in a random Premier League game. So hopefully he gets a good run of games. As far as another thing I want to cover too is the stick during the game that Theo was getting, and also Joel Campbell. I'll cover Joel Campbell first. It's one and the same though. Theo, this is his first start in 1 year, exactly 1 year. It's 1 year to the day that he got his ACL injury against Spurs in the third round of the FA Cup, and again, this is his first start with Joel Campbell. This is his first start since the Southampton game against, what was it, the League One Cup, was his last start. And of course, you can count on one hand of how many times he's got into a game as a sub, which is kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. That he just can't get even a sub here once in a while, and people were giving him stick for he probably should have finished that opening chance within like the first 2 or 3 minutes of the game. He had a beautiful kind of like 1-2 passing with Alexis Sanchez, and he was right in front of goal. Goalkeeper made a great save, obviously, but when you're trying to give stick to somebody, make sure there's he hasn't played at all. There's a difference between being fit and match fit. Match fit is basically playing a string of games back to back to back to where you can anticipate, you can kind of control yourself, you can basically control your stamina because he was going balls out for the first like 30 minutes to the point to where by the 30th minute he was kind of dead. A little bit, you can kind of see his legs getting a little tired, or he wasn't tracking back as much as he was in the first 30 minutes. But that's because he's not match fit. He might be fit, you know, in training, to run around in training and stuff like that, but you can't simulate a game um, at all in training. You just can't do it. Which I'm surprised he doesn't get more time with the like under 21s, because I think he's only 21 or 22 anyway. So I'm kind of surprised he doesn't get more time, maybe with the reserves, maybe a game or two here or there, like each month, just to keep him match fit or to keep him somewhat match fit, because you could see it. You could see it sometimes in his passing, and sometimes just in his stamina alone. To where, like I said, he was dead almost by the 30th minute. But then after halftime, he got his legs back under him, and he started running hard again. Um, People were giving him stick, but when did you see that with Lucas Podolski? That's what a player does. What Joel Campbell did in the first 30 minutes, even the entire game, in my opinion, until he came off, he was busting his ass. He was trying. He was trying to make Arson think that he deserves some time. He deserves maybe a start, a random start, or he deserves a maybe the second or third sub off the bench each game. That he can depend on him. That he's going to be coming into a game and he's going to give everything he has. He's going to give 100%, and he was trying to show that in this game. And on the opposite side, when have you seen Lucas Podolski really do that? Hardly ever. But people are giving Joel Campbell stick because he didn't finish the one chance he did. I know he had maybe another chance, but it was deflected out anyway. But why give a player stick for busting his ass, trying as hard as he can, and who's not match fit, who has barely gotten any time this season at all? I think some Arsenal fans, they think miracles can happen. They think that even a player like Theo Walcott, who has not started in a full year, who has only gotten a few games here and there as a sub already, and for him to be match fit and in form, and for him to finish every single shot that he gets, every single chance that he gets, and it's just not going to happen. It's going to take time. It's going to take time for Joel Campbell to get some type of match fitness and be in form. Same with Theo Walcott. Same thing. People were giving him stick of saying, well, he should have finished that. He should have finished this. He should have. It's his first game back. It's his first starting game back. It's his first time that he's been playing. I think against Southampton was the most minutes that he's had, at least with the first team, since he's come back. And what did he get, like 35, 40 minutes? He got, 70, 75 minutes in this game. You can't expect miracles. It's going to come. Theo Walcott is a finisher. He's proven that in the past. It's just going to take time for him to get back to that, that level of play. But it was exciting, seeing the team sheet with Alexis and Theo and Joel Campbell, with all that pace, and then the Ox coming in later on. It was exciting. I haven't been that excited for seeing a team sheet in a long time, to be honest with you. But again, you just have to give time to Theo Walcott and even to Joel Campbell, that hopefully they get more time. Hopefully they get more opportunities to play. I think obviously with Lucas Podolski going out on loan and possibly getting sold, maybe there is a chance for Joel Campbell. Maybe there is an opportunity for Joel Campbell, and that's what needed to happen for Lucas Podolski to be, shipped out for Joel Campbell to possibly get more time. And if that's the case, then Arsene Wenger has a lot of confidence in Joel Campbell, and he sees the potential in him, because the potential is there. I've read some Twitter tweets that saying that Joe Campbell wasn't even that great in the Greek league last year, and we I've seen him up close and personal and blah blah blah, and it's just it's a different team, it's a different league, it's a different style of play. Don't compare Greek league players to Premier League players. Don't compare Greek league players to Arsenal players because it's a completely different system from over there to here. Um, it seems like the Greek league is a little bit like maybe a little bit more physical. They can get away with a little bit more, but who cares? I don't care. I don't care what he did in the Greek league. What he did going out on loan was to prepare him to play with the first team, to come back to Arsenal and play with the first team. And again, it's just a completely different team, completely different league. The level of play. And again, he just needs time. Same with Theo. Both of them just need time to get that finishing down. And it's going to be exciting. It's going to be really exciting when Mesut Ozil comes back. Aaron Ramsey comes back. I mean, it's going to be craziness out on the pitch. It's going to be fun to watch with Ramsey and Ozil. I know bossing that midfield, even with Santi possibly. Bossing that midfield with a streaking Theo Walcott, with Alexis Sanchez, with Danny Welbeck, Giroud. I mean, it should be fun, and it should be goals galore. Ozil will be foaming at the mouth with how many runs he'll be able to pick out from either Theo or Alexis or even Welbeck or Giroud, or it's going to be crazy. Aaron Ramsey as well. It's going to be crazy when those two guys come back and come back into the fold and come back into the starting 11. I know there was a couple of rumors that Ozil was going to be on the bench today. Same with Aaron Ramsey, but it looks like they're going to be held out. Obviously, it looks like they're held out. Probably just give them a little bit more time, a little bit more rest. Of course, we don't have our next game until next Saturday. Let's see. Our next Sunday, actually. Well, yeah, next Sunday against Stoke. So again, a little revenge game. And of course, we go to Manchester City the following Sunday. Against Manchester City away at their place. So, and then after that, to finish out January is the fourth round of the FA Cup, which the draw will be tomorrow, I guess, at 1:30 p.m. at least U.S. time. So look forward to that and see who we get in the next round. Hopefully we get some, like I think last year we got Coventry City or something like that. Hopefully we get one of those again, because for the second straight year we're starting off with a Premier League team as our third round matchup, and hopefully we get a little bit of an easier tie, just so we can throw another, so Joel Campbell can maybe possibly get another game, so we can use up some of our youth guys and see what they can do and see how they can play with the first team, like a Chuba Akpom or a Zalem, and try to get those guys in the game. Bellerin as well, more experience that those guys get with the first team with high pressure situations, the better. It'll only benefit those guys in the long run. But again, the last goal, Alexis Sanchez, that thing was an absolute thing of beauty. Him and Santi hooked up, and that was just a beautiful curler in the far post, and the goalkeeper just had zero chance whatsoever with that beautiful curl. And I was just, it was good to see. He deserved a goal. As hard as he worked the entire game, he deserves a goal almost every single game. I mean, of how hard he works. I mean, he is a tireless worker. He's probably like the hardest worker in the Premier League. I mean, you could put him right up there in the top three as the best player, top three best players in the Premier League, of just the way he plays and scores goals. I mean, this is 16 goals and 28 appearances, and he's a winner slash striker, and most of his goals have come out from the wing. And the one thing I highlighted on Twitter was Alexis Sanchez over Eden Hazard. I'm sorry, but Eden Hazard, no. He's a good player and everything, but when you compare the two guys, you just can't. I mean, it's not even close, to be honest with you. But Eden Hazard gets all this praise and all this glory for some reason, and I just don't understand it, to be honest with you. He's just lazy. Hazard, he acts like he's CR7 or Messi or even one of the top dogs to that he doesn't have to put forth the effort. If if dribbling outside the box for 30 seconds, 40 seconds at a time is a world class player, then I mean, we have a ton of world class players on our squad, and Alexis Sanchez is 10 times more the player, 10 times more the threat of a Eden Hazard. And I'm kind of getting sick of those type of comparisons, just because you look at this goal scoring record, look what he does. Eden Hazard is a great player, but trying to compare him to Alexis Sanchez, you just can't. The work rate and the goal scoring opportunities, the chances that he has, it's just the assists that he makes, how he gets his teammates involved as well. Alexis Sanchez is 10 times the player that Eden Hazard is. So any Chelsea fan or anybody that disagrees with me, just kiss my ass, because it's not even close. And I'm just kind of getting sick of those comparisons. I'm getting sick of the praise that Eden Hazard gets for doing next to nothing sometimes. It's pretty fucking pathetic. That they try to give him so much praise when he just doesn't deserve it, to be honest with you. Yeah, that'll probably be the end of this episode. Maybe I'll do something during the week, because we got the next tie against Stoke City. If anything comes up to as far as transfers, well, I guess as far as transfers go, I guess can put this little thing in. I know the source is bullshit. It's caught offsides, but they're saying that Sami Khedira might be coming to Arsenal on 11 million pound, or 11 million euros. I don't know if it's pounds or if it's euros. Sometimes they get that mixed up, just because the rest of Europe goes by euros, and of course the UK goes by pounds. But they're saying it's either 11 million euros or pounds, whatever, for Sami Khedira. And some people are saying, why pay that when they can get him on a free in the summertime? One, we need him. We need a player like that. We need a proper DM, or a possible proper DM, that he could play that position. Two, if he goes out on a free, he wants to go to Bayern Munich. He was already expressed that in the media. I think he expressed that in the summertime. Actually, that's if he doesn't get sold in the summertime, or even in January, that's he's going to Bayern Munich in the summertime. He's going to go there on free. So waiting till the summertime, it's just not going to happen unless you're going to offer him a ton of money. And honestly, 11 million pounds, 11 million euros is pretty cheap. But honestly, you could probably get him for even cheaper. Because everybody knows that he's going out on a free, so you almost have the upper hand of dealing with Real Madrid. I mean, you could probably make an offer of 8 or 9 million pounds and get him for that, possibly, because Real Madrid, even though they have all the money in the world, they just don't want to let a player, unlike Arsenal, they hardly let a guy go out on a free and just let him walk without getting something in return from him. So you could almost probably get him for 8 or 9 million and save a couple million pounds just on that fact alone. But the drawback to that is Ivan Gazidis and Perez, who is the president of Real Madrid, are friends. So that they're not going to try to lowball Real Madrid, unfortunately. And unfortunately, they're probably going to give them, if it is 11 million pounds, they'll probably pay that, to be honest with you, instead of playing hardball and saying, well, do you have any other offers? Chances are there's not going to be any other offers for Sami Khedira, to be honest with you. And they could probably, like I said, they could probably lowball for 8 million if they wanted to. But again, that's just a rumor. The source is shit. But I thought I'd just throw that out there. But if there's anything else that comes up transfer wise, and any type of nuggets or anything like that, or maybe talking about the fourth round tie in the FA Cup coming up, then maybe I'll do something during the week. But other than that, have a good rest of the weekend and enjoy the win. Enjoy the going on to the next round of the FA Cup.